foothold back home is only the academics, which can pay them to certain extent. They are not asking the obscene and the whopping salaries of the Western universities, the way they have made the higher education unaffordable. In India, howsoever it is there, it's one of the cheapest, and corresponding to the ROI value we put it across, the quality is all relative. The quality and excellence is all very, very relative in nature. So we have to start questioning these abstract nouns, these definitions, because they have been just put on over there in some bureaucratic or in some policy making aspects, and no delineating, no definitions of these are being propounded. So many of the other people who have different allegiances, because whatever views are coming today, it's a time to probably define the allegiances of each one of us. Where we want to see the vision, and the willingness will surely come from that vision. So even if you will be astonished to know that even the directors of IITs, they are saying that we want foreign collaborations only at the PG level and the doctoral level. At the UG level, we have some of the finest programs, and probably that's not an area where quality is of very big concern. There are some gaps to be fixed in, some gaps to be pulled in, but on a whole, this entire brouhaha over quality, the entire perception which is built up by the media, the English media, over and over again, by publishing that none of the Indian universities is in the top 200 list. Now we have with us Mr. Abhishek Tripathi, who is a real overseer of these aspects of it. He says that many of the Indian institutions don't qualify in certain rankings, because India has taken a different route by creating super specialized institutions like IITs, IISCs, IIMs and LLSUIs or something like that. He has certain proposal, like in Delhi, for example, we have 4 premier institutions across various streams. Why not club them across, and then it will challenge even the MIT or Harvard or whatever, and then you qualify it across. So there are certain restructuring to be required, certain out of the box thinking to be required. Probably this forum is for that, and we will be taking it forward. So now, without losing any time, I would like to invite our guest for this morning. How to take it forward? Should I invite, or people can come on their own, on their willingness? Maybe, sir, you can initiate the entire deliberation and discussion. What have been your thoughts, and how do you see the incoming of the foreign varsities, the key challenges and the key opportunities which are present? In 1861, when Ahmad Shah Abdali was on the frontiers of India, the entire Maratha Confederacy was formulated, and it was a defeated confederacy because of the internal struggles between the Marathas. But had there been a united vision, probably 1861 and 2013 are quite different, and we have some eminent people who have really strong and very practical voices to take on the challenge in today's globalized era. So I request sir to please present his viewpoints.
Thank you very much, my dear. The opportunity is great to discuss at least with few of you. But all the same, I don't know, the people have very recent memories. Abdali only. Why not Alexander the Great?
That I started an educational started that.
Alexander the Great was one, and there was one Major General Palit. He wrote a book, Great Wars on Indian Soil. He starts that book with saying, you know what? He said, the history of India would have been different had it not been for Ambi. Ambi, if you know from historical background, was the general of Porus. Ambi betrayed Porus and joined Alexander the Great. The point goes on to say that our own people will join Alexander the Great, and many of the leaders will betray us on that. And here comes the foreign university into the college, into the great Indian landscape. Although, howsoever difficult it may be to absorb that point, but it is simultaneously difficult to say that what is the way forward for us. The way forward, I think, in education is really difficult. The road ahead is impossible. So much a mammoth task of bringing the quality into engineering education, into medical education, and into whatever practical kind of education there can be. Infrastructures we are creating, we will be forced to create. Believe me, all that infrastructure that we are willing to create today comes, 90% of it comes from foreign countries. May it be computers, may it be softwares. Right, sir? So what remains to us is a good teacher to use it. We have pathetically failed in developing ourselves into getting that mechanism into working. I don't know how and what way we can bring up the gurus to really benefit the country, revive its tradition of Guru Shishya. It is the gurus that must come to that standard or that motivation level that can bring up the students. How do we do it? I seek opinions from everybody to do that, but I fail to myself quantize that and give a quality to it. Well, of course, having visited so many institutes and so many universities all over the world during my tenure as SAP advisor or consultant to many big firms, I have found it is in the treatise, it is in the books. An interest in the books that leads to great discoveries even today on day-to-day basis in industries. Some remarkable things are there. Research, leave it aside research, but something that is already found out is also not being studied and utilized properly. We don't know. I am, of course, a mechanical engineer, so I would tell you, we don't know the materials. We don't know the materials yet, but they are there in the books that you can find out and do better. The latest of your telephones that you see today, Galaxy 4, 5 or even the laptops have a body that is machined out of solid aluminum to provide the strength. Having failed with developing a chemical or a plastic material that could be as strong as aluminum, ultimately the age-old aluminum has come into saying it is light, it is strong, that can take up all the solders inside the PCBs have also changed into aluminum from lead. So the aluminum is 75 of the crust of the earth, which is there. Similarly in education, it is there, most of the things are there, only to be analyzed, reanalyzed and redefined to understand in the present mind, the present structure of thinking or present engineering. Well, it gives me great pride to say that we were the people who introduced rocketry to the world. I don't know how many of you would know Hyder Ali, father of Tipu Sultan, defeated Frenchmen in the Battle of Plassey, I think, that I need to be corrected, with the use of 500 soldiers that were carrying rockets with him. The history says it, the French never fought a war on Indian soil thereafter, and they retreated from our country back to France. But in France they had fight with the Englishmen, Englishmen lost that war because the rockets were with Frenchmen. Englishmen carried the rocketry with them to England, and England, when they had fought with Germany, when they fought the war in Germany, it came to Germany. Then came the U2. I am telling you the talk, why all this talk, is that the rocketry, I think, to my mind, is the generation of the technology that we are enjoying. We are teaching, we are studying, and we are enjoying it all the same at once. So from Germany, it is all known a history that 72 rocket scientists were taken, and I think 73 were there, 72 were taken, 36 each between Russians and Americans, and one was killed then and there. Lest there be equal sharing, they thought. So the value of education can be seen, or value of engineering education can be seen by the various references to the wars that I have made. It is by war we understand that what engineering technology contributes to saving the nation and making it win over the other nations. Had it not been for a better nuclear technology, probably the Second World War would have continued even till now. Same was at the time of Alexander the Great. Had they not had the better arrows, probably they would have been there where they were in Macedonia. So it is the better technology which gives the strength to a nation. It gives the strength to rupee. It gives strength to the nation. So a lot depends on the technological brains that we have or we are likely to create. So you are all doing a great job for the country as well as for you. Today maybe you are thinking that you are not doing it as good as others are doing. But believe me, Manchester had to exist. Ludhiana had to exist. The industry at its nascent stage, there also needed a mass conversion of people from non-technical thinking to thinking, engineering at least. So we are doing that job at present in private institutions. Let's wait to bring the quality in. Lathes must start, then the CNCs will come automatically. I don't know how many of you will agree with me this or not. Couple of generations will go down, but seeing the scenario, people are changing a lot. People are changing a lot and quickly. I don't know, because this is an extempore. I cannot go into details of everything that is within me. But well, I have been an SAP expert, or you can't call everybody an expert, a consultant for that matter. And I have had a long time in industry as well as in education. 20 years down the line in education, I started my career from Scots as an engineer, graduate engineer, after having done engineering, and then from Motilal Nehru Engineering College, and then I joined MTech there. So this is the little background I have, but lot of passion for engineering teaching and lot of passion for very good teaching there is. Thank you very much, and I thank him for giving me the opportunity to speak.
So I think the audience would further like to know, and for the better cause of recording it on camera and then proliferating it across, quality education has become a kind of a metaphor that everyone is talking about quality and education of engineering education. And probably the incoming of the foreign varsities is being seen as a magic wand which will alleviate all the Indian problems of quality engineering education. So what are your views regarding that, and how we can learn more from the West, more from the foreign, and accommodate or acclimatize it in our own conditions?
One I just discussed with you prior to coming to the dais was the Japanese system that I was explaining to you all. that has created its own sort of, for everybody to see, excellence among the students and lot of motivation. But then I was very well involved in the American system of teaching, but they are so different from ours. Rote learning methods. Our approach being so mathematical that probably thinking gets a chance at the back seat at best. But our main aim is to develop the thinking, the innovative ideas in your mind, which I think will get created by the visualization of many of the things that we propound in theory and by mathematics. How would that happen? That would happen if we show more YouTube experiments that are on the web, a copy of the Western style, more MIT lectures, more Virginia Tech lectures, more NPTEL, and assimilation of the same by our professors, lecturers, and lab assistants. Nobody to be left behind in that process of learning. This is I would of course get everybody involved in the quality and the way they teach by MIT lectures that are on YouTube. Enough for many of us, for many generations. Then there are individuals who give away their experiments or their finding or their tutorials on YouTube. They are exceptional. This is one way, combined with the theory in the books that we need to study, and we need to keep studying it all the time. Teachers, and we must inculcate that habit in our students. This is one way of improving the technical. Lot of association with industry is the second way. Industry is dominated by the people who have experimented and have come up in their life. I don't say that is not a good way. That's very, very good way that you experiment. But where is the time to go reach beyond that once you are only experimenting all your life and learning the things which are already there in the history? Very many examples are there. So many things have been developed in the industry, like our ICs. ICs came out of a practical problem by Kilby. Kilby, you must be knowing, all of you. Kilby is the only engineer to have got Nobel Prize. Nobel Prize is for physics, for fundamental sciences, physics, chemistry. But this Kilby got this award even though he was an engineer. It was not for engineering. And the feat that he did was to convert the regular PCB circuits to ICs, regular transistors into ICs. The job was thrust on him when he joined Texas Instruments. Others were going on summer holidays, and this man had to stay back because he had just joined. And while leaving, probably his boss or his colleagues told him that assemble so many transistors onto one plate, and this is the circuit that we want when we come back. If you can do it, it will be excellent. So there comes the birth of ICs. He said, it's no use, let me create small transistors itself, which will be formed on the plate of silicon, and they can do remarkable off and on jobs. From industry also comes the invention. So this, I don't know. The set is difficult now, and so are the convergences in technologies making it still worse. The nano, I don't know where is it going to lead us. We are there. We are there. We will now all this only tells me that better teachers, better students can only do better. Maybe industry-led thinking, maybe philosophy-led thinking, maybe the finance-led thinking, maybe anything. Mr. Bhardwaj would say, rarely agree with me, but all the same, listen to me. Good. Anything else you have? Well, I am not a conventional professor, not a conventional teacher. I am an engineer who has gone round and thereupon come back to settle and set up
We
and
have some observations, comments or questions to make it a bit interactive what sir has talked about. What all I could gather from his immaculate conversation, like he's been talking about the willingness of the whole space of it, the larger ecosystem of it, the industry coming forward to drive the academic interventions, and his thought of the Southeast Asian models, like especially the Japanese models. So maybe we can take a couple of questions to Shri Gurmeet Singh Soin sir on the topic and conversations around it. Atul sir, would you?